Yesterday, the lights went out on 12 Premier League teams and their FIFA duos. Today, only 8 teams remain in their quest for FIFA glory here at the ePremier League finals. Liverpool, Wolves, Leeds United, West Ham, Crystal Palace, Aston Villa, Nottingham Forest and Tottenham Hotspur are still all in contention. We have 3 former champions still in the mix and a very cool £30,000 up for grabs for the winners. I'm so excited to be here today with these two as well alongside me. We've got Alex B, FIFA analyst, and Samantha Miller. She's a football commentator and a former footballer herself. Guys, this is a pretty exciting day. It's a massive day in the ePremier League, of course. Sam, I'm going to come to you first to talk a little bit about your footballing career in relation to what's happening today. Obviously, yesterday it was a massive day, so many games, but today is a new day. How would you approach this?
Today is what it's all about. It's what players live for. Yesterday, you could afford a few mistakes here and there. It was all about getting to the top 2 in the group. But today, you can't afford to make mistakes. You could be out a lot of money on the line. And I think you can see with these players that they just breed confidence, but a loss, sometimes they lose their heads a bit. So you've got to maintain composure, keep that mentality, and just put everything on the line today.
Well, confidence is what they need, of course, today, Alex. Obviously, we saw yesterday as well a lot of Erling Haaland headers, crosses. How are we going to stop this? Are we going to see new formations, anything different?
There's sometimes where players go, you know what, I'm not going to show all my cards in that Saturday. I am going to wait until we get to that final day, should they get there. I imagine most people that probably haven't been doing too many crosses will say that's something we're definitely going to put into our game, but they're very hard to stop. But yeah, I am looking forward to seeing if someone's got an extra formation or something extra in their locker.
Yeah, and of course, it's no second chances. It is single elimination today. If you get a loss, you're out of here. We're saying goodbye to some more teams, of course, starting with the quarterfinals in a short time. Well, again, how can you watch? Well, we're on the Premier League YouTube channel and, of course, on EA SPORTS FIFA Twitch as well. And we can watch both games from the quarterfinals at the same time. We're going to have a main one here, and you can go on the command centre and watch the other one if you like as well. And we always reward you, don't we, on these shows? We love to give something away for free. So if you're watching and you want to get some free goodies just for enjoying the show, make sure you link your Twitch and watch for at least 1 hour to get everything you see here on the screen. Head over to ea.com/Twitch linking for more information on linking your accounts. Thank you. You can thank me later.
The ePremier League returns for its 5th year in 2023, with all 20 Premier League clubs looking to secure the EPL trophy and the lion's share of a huge £100,000 prize pool. Day 2 is all about the knockouts with the single elimination bracket. 8 teams from the group stages. You win your fixture, you'll progress to the next round. You lose, and you go home. Each fixture features an Xbox and PlayStation leg, which we played back to back, with an aggregate scoreline across both legs. If the aggregate scoreline is tied at the end of the second leg, we go to extra time and penalties. Only one team can be crowned champions of the ePremier League.
Well, a point to note on there as well. Xbox has to go first every time. And Sam, I wanted to ask you a question about that. And in terms of more pressure for Xbox or PlayStation, which one would you like to be?
I'd like to be the Xbox player. I love going first. So when I played football, penalty shootouts, my hand was up to take the first penalty every time, because it's the players that go after you that feel the pressure. If you miss, they then need to make up for it. So yeah, I'd like to be the Xbox player personally.
How many times did you miss?
I've only ever missed 1 penalty.
Oh, she's got skills. And I love actually the fact that she played for West Ham and Spurs, so she can support each pod here as well. Right, let's have a quick look at the 2 games you're going to be seeing coming your way in the first quarterfinals. So we've got Aston Villa taking on Tottenham Hotspur, West Ham United, Wolves, Forest, Palace, Liverpool, Leeds. Alex, which one have you got your eye on?
For me, the Liverpool Leeds is obviously a final-worthy quarter-final there for us. It's just going to be an amazing game. But Aston Villa, Tottenham Hotspur as well. You've got former world champion in Gorilla, Aston Villa, young package coming through. I'm very much looking forward to that one.
Sam, what about you?
I'm also going to say Liverpool Leeds. But for me, Nottingham Forest have been a bit of a surprise package. So I'm going to keep an eye on what happens there. But I think you have to mention Liverpool potentially winners, and also Leeds. So for me, they were favourites going into this. So they're playing each other very early, considering.
Yeah, it's really tough, isn't it, to lose one of those two teams at this point in the competition. We're talking about Liverpool, Leeds, of course. Obviously, we have Tex being a winner back in 2019, and we have Leeds going to the semi-final last year. So both obviously want to go lift the title this time. But talking of Liverpool, Kyle Walker, our reporter, is standing by with their two players.
Thank you, Rachel. Yes, I am here with both of our competitors representing Liverpool, and they seem so relaxed. Well, why is that? Because top of the group yesterday, and they get rewarded with Leeds United today. Huge fixture. We'll talk about that in a minute. Tex, Diogo, how do you feel yesterday went?
It went good. A bit under the radar. We just did the job. We did the job last year and got rewarded with Crystal Palace, and then this time we got Leeds. So not ideal, but we'll see.
Diogo, when you know you did so well yesterday and then you've got to come back and do it all again. Yes, of course, the champions have got to play some of the biggest and best teams in the country, but this is a difficult one to start.
Yeah, like not ideal. Like we didn't really want Leeds. In fact, like we topped the group thinking, okay, we topped the group, we'll probably avoid Leeds. But unfortunately, they lost the last game to West Ham. So, I mean, it's a tough one, but it is what it is.
It is what it is, and we're just talking about the pressure that it adds with this format, and actually Xbox has got to go first, but you turned to me, Tex, and you said, no pressure.
No pressure on me. There's more pressure on the PlayStation player this time. I'm hoping to give him a lead. Maybe 1 goal, 2 goal, 3 goal, maybe 4, hopefully.
Maybe 4. How would you feel if you got 4 goals at that lead right there, Diogo?
I wouldn't let my opponent see the board. That's what would happen. But we'll see what lead against Leeds.
Now, it is Championship Sunday. We can see the trophies. They've been here throughout the weekend. How good would it feel to get your hands on those trophies this weekend and for the ePremier League this year?
ePremier League trophy and a playoff spot, which is like the main goal, I think, the playoff spot. And obviously the trophy is nice. But yeah, ask me after Leeds how I feel. Is
that the focus then, just right now? You've got a little bit of time until that game. All focus is just on Leeds. Have you got a game plan in place to come up against him? Don't give all your secrets away, but come on, tell us.
I mean, the game plan is just to play our game. If it's enough, it's enough. If it's not enough, it's not enough. That's just how life goes.
Oh, come on. As always, Tex, Diogo, they're not giving too much away, are they, Rachel?
Yeah, I love hearing the player insights there. Alex, what did you make of that? Do you kind of look at them and try and read their body language? The fact that Tex there was like, maybe I need to get 4 or 5 goals just to boost. Yeah, what are you reading into that?
Yeah, I mean, Tex is always a confident player. And I do feel for them, knowing that you've topped the group and you're thinking, yeah, that'll be enough to avoid Leeds. And then you do get Leeds in that first round. It's just such a difficult fixture for them. But I will say, if they do advance through, I'll kind of back them to go all the way and lift that trophy.
Oh, well, I mean, it's a long way to go yet. Let's not just count the chickens just yet. Again, Diogo sitting back, we spoke about that. I think I prefer that just because you kind of know how everyone's been playing and maybe you're not as stressed out just if he does give you that 4 or 5 goal lead.
Well, we heard Tex say it, and I think where these two have been a pair for a long time now, you can see that they're good friends off the FIFA field, and they really want to help each other. And I think that Tex will give everything to score as many goals as he can, go all-out attack, and then just give Diogo that boost going into the second leg.
The fact they got an interview, is there some mind games in there as well for Leeds?
It's one thing about Tex and Diogo. They love being on the cameras. They've got no problems with that. So you know, I'm sure Lito and Tom Stokes will be thinking a little bit of pressure, but they'll be looking forward to it.
Yeah, well, pressure is what the Liverpool guys can handle. I'm sure Leeds United will as well. Well, let's go over to our commentators. We're not commentating just yet. We've got Richard Buckley and Brandon Smith. They're going to give you a preview of some of the other games to watch.
Thank you very much, Rachel. Great stuff on the preview as always. Brandon, ePremier League 2023. It's not disappointing.
It hasn't. I mean, we had the opportunity yesterday to commentate on all the action, Rich. What a day we had. 20 clubs were obviously at the start of the journey here. Now there's only 8 that remain. We had loads of group play, but it's safe to say there was a couple of surprises along the journey. We're going to have a little look at some of the highlights from those games of some teams that surprised us and impressed us.
Yeah, I mean, we pointed out Forest. They've been outstanding. What in particular about this Forest side has been clicking for them?
I mean, number one, they're in a difficult group, regardless, yesterday. I don't think many people predicted the performance that we saw from them. They have got a previous ePremier League player, you know, in their Arsenal with Redlac. And look, it's just the goal scoring form, Richard, they had. 25 goals they scored. I think they've picked up the joint highest point tally in the group stages. And I know you know RSD as well. He's an upcoming FIFA Pro player. And Redlac said it yesterday in his interview. There's just a chemistry between these two. Yes, it's still 1v1 in some ways, but it's a team and there's a chemistry and there's a good feeling in that camp at the moment.
And I think this is a perfect example of confidence. in FIFA esports. When it gets flowing, when it gets going, when you get cooking, it can go a long, long way. And RSD replied to your tweet that you put up this morning saying who's going to win the ePremier League, and just put, fine, we'll do it. There's been a few other teams alongside Nottingham Forest that maybe have been a surprise package, would you say?
Yeah, I mean, West Ham is that name. Look, they've got this man. If you don't know who this man is, he won the Premier League last year under Norwich City. Had a bit of a transfer over to the Hammers, and he's got a new teammate this year in Dan Wright. What do they have in common, Rich, with Nottingham Forest? They score goals, and also they top the group. Look at that for a tally they've had. Yes, they might leak a few goals, but when you're scoring 31
nearly
across
double
the group stage...
Yeah.
You know, Wolves need to be a bit fearful of that in the knockouts.
And look, Dan Wright is a player that we didn't really know. He's been here once or twice before, but he's performing really, really well. Is that goal poacher bringing him up to his level? He's wanting to be the first ever back-to-back, first ever two-time ePremier League champion?
Well, I think it's a good example of that. And also, Goal Poach said earlier today, I said, this has been such a good springboard for you in terms of a tournament. This ePremier League for a UK player that's out there is a perfect entry into your sort of FIFA esports career. And he said, look, it's a perfect springboard for me, Brandon, but to go back-to-back, to be the first ever player to do that, that would be incredible. He's seen some of the highlights from Dan Wright in particular. Just some of the goals he was scoring. That new Eric Cantona yesterday from that recent promo. And it's just free-flowing FIFA, Richard, where goals are just constantly going in for the Hammers.
And look, this were a group when we came into play where Leeds were expected to top it. Leeds were expected to dominate this group. West Ham just turned it around. They're another side in this ePremier League that we expected big things from. And it was Tottenham Hotspur. It didn't particularly go to plan, but they got through. I want to bring your attention to these stats right here. 8 goals scored, 11 conceded. They went through with a -3 goal difference. This is big for both Tom and Gorilla, because a little bit of, you could say it's the last dance. You could say it's the last chance saloon at the FGS series for FIFA 23.
Yeah, well, the one thing you're seeing here is they're in the same group as Forest. They had a tough result and a couple of tough results against Forest. But then at the end of the match, or the last game, sorry, look at this moment of magic from Gorilla. He might have won a World Championship many moons ago, but this man has still got that quality. And look, they're in the zone for it. They're in the knockouts. Forget the group stage now, Richard. They're in the top 8.
Yeah, the main thing was that they got through and they got the job done. On to the knockouts. The Premier League 2023. It's going to be absolutely outstanding. There's plenty of games coming up for you to feast your eyes upon. Don't go anywhere, because the ePremier League 2023 knockouts come up after this break.
Finals of the ePremier League finals are upon us. If you can see behind us, 2 pods are set and ready to go. Spurs, Aston Villa that side, West Ham, Wolves over my shoulder there. Alex, going to come to you. Talk a little bit about seeding. Has the seeding helped either of these pairs today?
I think for West Ham, possibly, yeah.
Okay.
I think they'll take the Wolves matchup. But on the other hand, for Aston Villa, they've got Spurs, which is a very difficult matchup for them. So maybe not so much for them for topping that.
Well, it depends how you look at Spurs, because Spurs had to wait, didn't they, to Forest to do them a favour to get here today, if you watched yesterday. Sam, quick question on Villa Spurs. What are you making of this one?
Well, Aston Villa are a young team, but for me, watching all the matches
Tired
yesterday,
as well, clearly. Tom there, yawning away. Sorry, Sam.
Tom maybe didn't get enough sleep, worrying about today. But I have to say, Villa yesterday, as did the other young players in the tournament. And I feel like they're playing with flair, creativity. Aston Villa topped the group and Spurs just scraped through. And they weren't at their best when they played against Nottingham Forest. That might drive them today. But Aston Villa seem to look out for potentially.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's have a quick look then at the quarter-final fixtures coming your way. We've just mentioned 2 of them, Villa, Spurs, West Ham, Wolves. Then a little bit later, we've got Nottingham Forest taking on Crystal Palace, and then Liverpool taking on Leeds. That's the one we've really been bigging up as the possible it could have been a final. It's not, it's a quarter-final. Very exciting. 4 quarter-finals coming your way before we get into the semis, and then, of course, the final later on. All right, well, let's get into this first quarter-final. And we're mentioning we're going to Spurs-Villa as our feature matchup. You can watch the other one over on the Command Centre on Twitch. And casting this on, you have Leah Ravel and Gravison.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to day 2 of the ePremier League finals. Sunday, the finals. We crowned our rather today, which I'm excited for. I'm sure you're excited for.
Definitely.
We have a big game that we're about to cast. Aston Villa, Tottenham. As they were mentioning up front there, Tottenham kind of scraped through, but speaking to the 2 of them yesterday, there was a sense of relief that they made it this far after potentially not as successful in past years. What can we expect in this game?
I think we can expect like both matches are going to be pretty tight, I'd say. It depends because Gorilla is playing really, really good this weekend, I'd say. Even I think his worst match was against Redlac, against Nottingham. And he was near 3 down, but then he scored 2 goals, so it was kind of like a close end of the match. But I think this first match is going to be interesting, this Gorilla against Cameron. I think we can expect like a tight match and maybe even go into a decider, 3rd match. But I don't know. I expect big things from both of them.
Well, a lot on the line for these players. A £30,000 prize pool at the end of today will be awarded to a winner. Both of these teams want it to be them, and soon we'll find out. Speaking a little bit about Tottenham and their coach specifically. Several years. So what can you expect in terms of play style, gameplay, game plan from him?
Javi is actually a really active coach. When you're playing, he gives you, I don't know, tips about offside traps, about tactics. And I think they're going to be playing 5-4-1, 5 at the back, because it's just the meta right now. It kind of makes sense because you have so many people on the defensive side of things, but you actually attack with many people as well, because you have the 4 line in the midfield, you have your striker, and then obviously the fullbacks go up as well. I think it's actually a good way to defend the crosses to Haaland as well, so I think it makes sense for them. And Javi is obviously analyzing the game pretty much every single day, and yeah, he kind of told me they were using 5-4-1, so yeah, they're going for that.
Awesome. Speaking a little bit about Aston Villa and those 2 boys, they are a little bit younger than the Tottenham boys. They've played together for a little while as well, but how do you think that being onto the stage, obviously the 4 of them have the experience of competing at the top level, but how do you think the age might affect them? Pressure?
I don't think they're going to feel the pressure, because I think they have actually played Premier League for a couple of times now. So international event where you might be a world champion, you're kind of scared in a way. I think this is kind of your area, your momentum. So I wouldn't say they're going to be I don't know, frightened in a way, but obviously playing against Gorilla, a former world champion, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough because he's going to pressure you in your half, so your build-up isn't going to be comfortable enough. But Cameron played well yesterday, so we can expect him to be offensive as well.
Definitely. Well, we are underway here. Aston Villa versus Tottenham Hotspur. We will be watching the Xbox match first, and then Leeds and Konkai second. Aston Villa, you were just saying how good of a day they had yesterday, and starting off with a fabulous start.
Yeah, definitely. First goal, first attack of the day. The 5 defenders at the back wasn't enough. It was kind of lucky. Hullet with the pressure was on point, and obviously the extra pass was good as well with the tap in. But yeah, goal. But everything counts. So yeah, good start for Villa.
I'm sure that'll give them the confidence they need to be able to be at the top of this top. A little bit different setup than yesterday. Both teammates playing at the same time versus now one at a time. So
I think it actually kind of gets some pressure off your shoulders, because you're playing with fear, and actually you might be looking at the other match as you're playing, so it's kind of hard. I think when you're playing just by yourself with not another match at the same, I think it's just you're more focused in a way, because you're not thinking about what's happening in the other match. But obviously, like, if you lose your game, you're forcing your teammate to win. So it kind of adds up a pressure in a way, but I think it's easier to play this way.
Definitely. A little bit of an update from the other match. Wolves have gone 1-0 up against West Ham.
Yeah, nice. I think it's a cross from. Wow, that's a nice goal. Yeah, I was expecting kind of.
Really good goal. Like we said, a lot on the line today. 30,000-pound prize. Opponents are going to be looking to clinch that.
Yeah, definitely. We have some players like Ethan, the Crystal Palace player, ranked as the first seed of UK, so he might be grabbing that playoff spot in the FGS format, but they're definitely playoff spot as well, so it's important for them.
And for those of you that are just tuning in on Sky Sports, the game we're playing is very similar to this game, but it's a game mode in EA Sports FIFA called Ultimate Team, where players are able to choose any player. In this case, it's past and present Premier League players to add to their team, which is why you'll see the likes of and a good shot there, but saved well by Van der Sar, which is why you'll see the likes of Ruud Hullet, Peter Crouch, Patrick Vieira, and it adds personality and maybe nostalgia.
Yeah, definitely. Talking about how fun it is to actually play with Kevin De Bruyne, Cantona in the same team. It's kind of, I don't know, it's fun as a player, and obviously as a spectator as well. This is nice. Like, really well.
Really good build-up and a first-time shot by Ginola, but defended well by Tottenham. A little bit of dominance from Aston Villa at the moment.
Definitely. He had 3 really good clear chances. Maybe the cross? No, not the cross, but yeah, he's playing really good at the moment. I think Gorilla needs to change something in the second half. Probably Javi's help and Tom's help. It's going to be needed, because right now, I don't know, he's not finding the build-up he needs to actually equalize the game.
We mentioned yesterday that Gorilla helped out a little bit getting Tottenham over the line, and maybe today is Tom's day to help his teammate over the line instead.
Yeah, that can definitely happen. There's something like, to win a tournament, it's really hard to play all your games at a high level. So sometimes you need your teammate to actually carry you for a bit, and that could definitely happen today, because Tom is a world-class player as well.
Tom and Gorilla obviously being like you mentioned, world-class players on the global stage. Having that experience coming into this tournament will help them under pressure. But didn't quite get the shot away.
Cameron is playing really, really good at the moment. Like, his build-up is on point. You can see like the easy pass maybe to Haaland or other striker, but he's kind of doing the harder passes, which are working for him. He just needs a little bit more in that 1v1 situation. He's playing spectacular.
Aston Villa having a great day yesterday as well, finishing top of their group, where Tottenham finishing second to make it through to day 2. Probably adds a little bit of confidence going into the second day as well. Taking a quick look over at that other game, we will look to have the equalizer here.
Yeah, an easy. Yeah, easy through ball, easy tap in. And how beautiful is that was on the t-shirt. I definitely won that. I won that. Even on the game or in real life. But yeah, that was beautiful. Yeah, player locks everywhere.
Special chance here.
Oh, maybe far post. But yeah, the build-up was there. I mean, so creative. You don't know what to expect from him. Like the player locks, he did like 3 consecutive player locks, which mechanically is really hard to do. He's just, I don't know, he's good. He's good, just that, good.
That brings us to halftime. 1-0 up for Aston Villa. Tottenham looking to get something in this second half. If Gorilla isn't able to equalize or come out ahead, then that puts a lot on Tom, as we mentioned, in the second game.
Yeah, it's hard, but actually, like in your and Tom's perspective, yesterday you didn't play that good. Today, I would step in here, like putting that pressure on myself that I gotta perform good, because I'm not gonna let my teammate down like 2 days in a row, you know? Gorilla kind of stepped it up yesterday. I remember in that last game, I think he won 2-0, which is hard. Like, you're playing for that last spot, you have to win to get the second place. And he did perform, 2-0 win. And Tom, I think it was a 0-0 result, which made Spurs go through. But I think like Tom puts a lot of pressure on himself. So I think he's expecting to win his match in a way. But yeah, it's going to be hard because Conke is playing really good in this tournament as well. And Villa, as you said, they're just performing consistently good through the 4 matches they played.
I think it definitely gives Villa the momentum, especially now coming up against 2 powerhouses in Tom and Gorilla. Both Tom and Gorilla, you know, like you said, world champion, performed at they could go all the way if they wanted to. But I think, you know, after a little bit of struggle yesterday, they'll just need to lock in, do their best.
Yeah, and they can do it. I don't. There might be some tactical changes in this second half because we actually saw Javi speaking with Gorilla, and they were using, as we said, the 5-4-1, and Villa right now is using the 4-3-1, which kind of it could overwhelm you with so many people going forward, but I don't know. More players in the box.
We already see a little bit more pressure from Tottenham, and like you mentioned, that's exactly what Gorilla needed to do to be able to put pressure on Villa.
Haaland, what a player, eh? Defending, attacking, he's everywhere. Oh, he's as good. His item, his Team of the Year item, is as good as real life. Which is a lot.
Yeah, you put him in front of goal, he's not missing anything.
Aye. Good. The handballs are off. So for watch at home that might say, hey, ref, that's handball. They're off. So we're not seeing any handballs inside the box or outside the box.
Villa here looking for a little bit of space. Kevin De Bruyne, you mentioned that item being another powerhouse in the game, a consistent one throughout.
It is nice to see Vidic in game, actually. Like, we've not used him in the last few years. I don't know when actually his item was put in foot. I don't know. Was it this year?
Team of the Year, I think.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, like his general item.
Yeah.
I don't know when he was put into foot, but I don't know. I remember as a child to actually watch Vidic play against Real Madrid in tournaments. I was like, he's like, I remember when I was like 10 years, something like that. So, like, do you remember? It's just fun to watch those items like Vidic, like Hullet, some of your childhood idols actually.
It's like some nostalgia being able to emulate what they did on the real pitch, but on the virtual pitch instead. Gorilla building up here. Out of possession this half already.
Yep.
It's very obvious that there were some tactical changes made.
This can be a good cross.
Liverpool looking for a little bit of space, trying to find someone in the middle. He's got lots. All he wants right now is that ball in the back of the net, and that's exactly what he does. The confidence, the composure, all square.
What a goal. As you said, the composure there. He was building up the play on the wing for, let's just say, 10, 15 touches, and then actually having the confidence and the composure to just do that simple kind of variant out of heel to heel. That was good. And obviously, we're watching Team of the Year De Bruyne, so that's going in. That's going in.
That's definitely who you want to have that final touch in the box. You can see a little bit of pressure almost like radiating out of Gorilla. It's like he took a breath and it was gone.
Yeah.
So some of that stress, I think, you know, after scoring the first goal, or after rather equalizing, after scoring Tottenham's first goal, I think that now that they can kind of relax and keep doing what their coach is telling them to do, it worked.
Yeah, it worked. Definitely worked, because we saw a real change in Gorilla's playstyle in the second half. We didn't see much of Gorilla in the first half, maybe one attack, I'd say, but his build-up wasn't there, and now he was patient enough to just kind of build up in the wing, do some left stick dribbling, and then pass it to Kevin De Bruyne. I mean, look at those stats. Obviously, that goal was going in, but let's see what Villa does now, because Cameron hasn't played that well in the second half, which happens because you cannot perform and in this case Gorilla, former world champ, so it makes sense. But if Cameron's going to be able to score one more goal, it's interesting to see Arnold in the left wing as well as a left back.
I was just going to say on the right in the first half, which are two items that we haven't seen very often this weekend.
Not that much, no. It's interesting, yeah.
Trent, as we know, does have that pass. The amount of over-the-head balls that are going into the box or into that final third. What better person to have?
When he picked up the ball, he actually like took the water bottle and everything. Like, he's calm. He is calm. He expects maybe he expects the game to go to extra time. I don't know, but I don't know.
I think maybe sometimes that's what you get when you have as much experience as he does on the biggest stage. The World Cup, that's the pinnacle of FIFA eSports, and so you know, not only did he perform on that stage, but he won the whole thing. So with that experience comes a lot of confidence, calmness.
Yeah, definitely. But playing the ePremier isn't easy at all, because you kind of have the best UK players, so you know everyone is gonna know your playstyle and know your kind of decision making inside the box. So it isn't easy for Gorilla at all, because obviously Cameron has pretty much learned to play the game watching Gorilla. So it's hard. It's a hard position for Gorilla to be in those situations, those matches.
Especially in a game like this where it's an all English affair, and all of these players play against each other on a regular play against each other, so they're already familiar with how each other play and their play styles. Do you think that, you know, when they practice, they kind of style on this stage in a competition like this one, or do they change some things to try and throw their opponent off? Chance here by Kuoba. Can he get the shot away? He can't. Soft, I would say, in front of goal.
Yep.
He would have needed that to go in. Approaching the 90 minutes to have possession for that last attack. It looks like Tottenham might want to hold on to the possession so they can try and go up 1 before the end of the game.
Yeah, definitely last chance of the game, I'd say. If Cameron doesn't team press or something, it's going to be the last chance of the game. But obviously, Spurs is being, and Gorilla has been now, just passing the ball through their centre backs. And I think he's going to be happy going to extra time, because I don't think we're going to have an attack yet, definitely.
It's good game management for Gorilla. A great equalizer to make it all square between Tottenham and Aston Villa. There's a job to do. There's work to be done.
Oh.
What are your thoughts on that game?
Second half was kind of slower in a way. I'd say if Cameron could have actually like a better decision making in the 1v1 situations, he could have scored like the second or even the third goal, but he kind of lacked that calmness that actually Gorilla had, because Gorilla only had a couple of chances, I'd say, and when he did get into that box, he actually performed well and he was calm enough. So now all the pressure is both on Konkai and Tom. I mean, it kind of makes sense when you have a draw in the first game, because you don't actually want to risk the chance of losing that ball on the last possession, then your opponent scores, and you kind of put the pressure on your teammate. So it makes sense to hold the ball in the last possession of the game. But yeah, let's bring it on. PlayStation now.
PlayStation. Well, all square in that game and all square in our other game between West Ham and Wolves. 1-1 apiece. A lot on both teams. I think both teams equally played well in the game that we watched here between Aston Villa and Tottenham. Cameron had the strong first half, Gorilla had the strong second half, and in the other game it was 1-1 as well. So we don't know anything yet. There's lots to go. PlayStation is next, but before we get into that PlayStation match, we are going to take a quick break. Hello guys, we are back for game 2 of this quarterfinal between Tottenham Hotspur and Aston Villa, this time on PlayStation. If you're just joining us, my name is Leah Ravel, and alongside me is my co-caster, Gravison. What can we expect from this PlayStation match?
We can expect definitely more action, I would say, as they're I wouldn't say more attacking players, but you know, when you're playing the first game, you don't want to lose and put that pressure on your teammates, so you're kind of holding the position for a bit. But I don't think that's going to happen in this game, because actually Conke scored a lot of goals yesterday, and Tom is really good at it. So we can expect more goals, and I would say more action, definitely.
More action is what we want. We want a very exciting match, and it will be indeed. Taking a quick look at Tom, getting ready, getting locked in, like we mentioned yesterday. Perhaps Gorilla had the stronger day, but everything's on Tom now. But like you mentioned, he's confident. He knows that he should be here, as does Conkai, but we're going into this game with a draw from their counterparts. Not a bad place to be going into the second game. Pressure still to win.
Yeah, and it's on you. Like, if you win, you're going through. If you lose, then you're going home. But yeah, it can be kind of like a generational match in a way, as Conke is not that young. He's 21, so he's kind of peaking in a way as a FIFA player, which can be quite different than rather, which is peaking at, I don't know, I say 30 maybe, 28, 29. A FIFA player, I'd say, peaks at level out there, which Tom already reached. Back in the days, consistently top player in the world for, let's just say, 3 years now. So this could be a kind of a generational match in a way between two UK players.
Definitely. You mentioned earlier that Conkai getting to the final.
Yep.
Of the Club World Cup. And then Tom, you mentioned, obviously, the ePremier League final. He also represents his country, so he represents England as well.
Yep.
Experienced players, the two of them.
Both of them. And both of them experience at LAN, which isn't the same as playing online. You're at your home, or let's just say dorm playing or whatever. Here, it's different. It can be harder for you, but as experience as both players are, they are not going to feel the pressure in that way, I'd say.
It's definitely different, especially after 3 years. Maybe?
Maybe, yeah. For some players, for sure.
But what's interesting is sometimes, you know, when you're practicing, if you have a good game, a bad game, you need a break, you can take one. You have one chance.
Yep. Good build up from Tom, yeah. I love the confidence from Tom and from Spurs, like building up slowly.
I was just saying, Tom maintaining a lot of this possession, and that's exactly how he probably wanted to start this game. In terms of Tottenham's coach, do you think that he's going to coach Tom and Gorilla differently in terms of tactics, in terms of play style? Obviously, they're two different players, two different consoles. Talk a little bit about how that would differ between the two of them.
Definitely. Gorilla is more of a compulsive player in a way, more emotional one. So you're going to need to have, I'd say...
Woo!
Nope.
Oh, that was close.
That was close, that was close. Close offside.
Close offside.
We could call VRA maybe to check that one out, but yeah, close offside. But yeah, I would say with Gorilla, you could be talking more about mental side and emotion side of things, and with Tom, you could be more tactical with him, because he as emotional as Gorilla is. But yeah, that's what I would do if I were a coach. And I'm sure that's how he did, because he's one of the best players in the best coaches in the world right now, for sure.
Tactical genius in Tom and Gorilla's play. But taking a quick look at the other game between Wolves and West Ham. Wolves taking the lead, up 1-0 against West Ham with an easy finish.
Who else? Erling Haaland.
right?
I mean,
Literally, who else?
who else?
In real life?
Yeah, a good build-up, kind of a lucky rebound in a way, but yeah, good goal nevertheless, and Wolves are up 1.
We obviously know that last game ended 1-1 for Wolves and West Ham as well, so Wolves are leading now over there. This game's still all square.
Yep. That's unfortunate, but yeah, we did see Gorilla using 5 defenders at the back. Now we're seeing Tom using 4, so that's a tactical adjustment from Spurs, and yeah, they're both playing with 4 defenders at the back. Actually, this is nice. Oh,
that was great.
Yeah, Virgil van Dijk.
Obviously.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about Van Dijk and Haaland all day, pretty much, because they're best items in their position, as well as real life.
We called them yesterday VVD, but instead of Virgil van Dijk, we called them Vidic van Dijk. At the back. Tom maintaining literally like 90% of this possession. Now, obviously you have the experience of playing on this stage. A quick shot by Hullet there, getting some space, but left the second shot. That could have been in the back of the net.
Both of them. The Cantona chance was good. He wasn't calm enough to... Maybe the bar wasn't pressed enough, because it was kind of, I don't know, it wasn't that strong shot. Good to chances from Spurs, and you can actually afford to make those mistakes, because when you're building, that's what's important for me in FIFA. If you're building up well, you're gonna create those chances. That's Tom is doing right now.
We have another attack here. Joao Felix out on the right side, looking for the body inside the box, getting pressed a little bit by Konkai, but Tom having all the chances.
Yeah, definitely. And we might have the last chance of the first half from Tom. But yeah, it's kind of the other way around from the Xbox game.
With stuff to do in the second half, perhaps?
Yeah. He has work to do, because he kind of... he's only doing the first time lob-through passes, which is a good way to play FIFA, obviously, and a good way to create chances, but you gotta combine that with some wing build-up, with some play on the side of the half, with something else, because when you only do one thing when you're building up, obviously your opponent's going to expect that from you, so he's going to defend it. You got to mix up things for a bit. I think Konkai is actually a really good player at the moment. He knows the meta, so he has to combine things for a bit.
Before the game, we said that we predicted this goal to have, or this game rather, to have lots of goals.
Sorry.
Did you expect it to be?
Sorry. Yeah, it happens. Yeah. It's like every time I'm commentating, I say it's just
the opposite. You jinxed it.
Yeah, so I'm not saying it again.
We're expecting some potential tactical changes from Konkai here in the second half.
Definitely, I'd say, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say tactical changes. I'd say more of the way he's playing. Like, you don't things to actually change, you know?
Definitely.
But and sometimes a tactical change can help that.
With a game plan, like you said, the lob through balls, which is what we've typically seen, although that one might work, and it did. It worked. Everything that maybe he doesn't have to change something after all.
maybe. Yeah, really good first time lob through ball, and the cross from Haaland was on point. Tom even moved the keeper, but sometimes that isn't enough when you have a chance as Cantona had. So yeah, first goal, 1-0 up, and all to play in the second half.
Maybe they could hear us.
Yeah,
for those of you at home, they're playing.
If I were Tom, I would still be playing the same, because I think he's playing good. I think he's building up the play good, but you just need something else in 1v1 situations. But yeah, good. And Konkai just needs to bring him back in the defense side of things.
I think you're right. I don't think that the scoreline is indicative of the way that Tom's been playing, because as we saw in the first half, he's the match. So
you need to change things up when you're down, because it's kind of like an even match in a way when you're mirroring your opponent's formation. And Tom has time, but he doesn't have that much time because he's actually 1 goal down play. But yeah, you cannot afford to concede another goal, that's for sure.
definitely, we spoke a little about this yesterday, and this might be very redundant if you tuned in. In this competition, we do have 2 legs, but instead of the same player playing 2 legs, we have playing 2 legs, and that was a quick and easy chance of
Could have been game on point. We're hearing some screams all over the place. It's going wild, eh? I mean, it's quarterfinals. Obviously, you expect things to get crazy for a bit. Oh, penalty.
An unlucky penalty conceded by Tom and Saliba. Taking a quick look with the screams that we heard in the other game. A first-time green time shot and an easy penalty scored by Eric Cantona.
This is big.
Oof.
This is big. This is big. Actually, we were talking about Konkai needing to do a bit more in the 1v1 situations. The Elastico in kind of one heel-to-heel was on point. When you're in those situations, I think you need to go for the ball in the defender situation. So I think Tom did actually a good job. He wasn't just quick enough, so he missed it and he did a penalty. But yeah, I wouldn't say the match is over, definitely, because we have 30 minutes more to play. But yeah, Tom is in a tough spot right now, 2-0 down.
What we say often in FIFA is that 2 goals is the worst lead and the worst deficit to have, because you can, 1 goal when you're leading is only 1 goal then to equalize. And then similarly to when you're trailing 1 goal, that only means you have to get 1 more. So anything can happen. But as I was saying yesterday, we were talking about how typically 2 legs are played by 1 player, but in this case, it's played by 2. So really you have 90 minutes to play your best. And sometimes in 2-leg matches, when it's the same player, you have a lot of time to feel out your opponent, understand the way that they play, their play style, to be able to read what they're doing and the way that they play throughout the game. But 90 minutes is not a lot of time.
It's not. In FIFA, it's approximately 15 minutes of real time. So that's not a lot of time. It's not 90 minutes as per se. But yeah, definitely you're right. This can be a good chance.
Good head in.
Yep.
Good by Roberto Firmino. Another item that we haven't typically seen. But confidence in Tom, that's what he needed, especially at this time in the game.
And you definitely need a quick chance, a quick goal. And the step overs were on point, and the green time finishing was on point as well. So yeah, all to play, 20 minutes left. And yeah, great goal by Tom.
Now, do you think Tom's going to maintain some of the same play style that he had previously in the first half? And he's going to go a little more aggressive, a little more offensive?
I think so, yeah. I think you need to speed up things a bit. So the calm has to be there, but you gotta. But yeah, we're seeing pressure now. Let's see if Konkai is able to hold the ball for longer next time, because this wasn't enough.
This will be quite the comeback for Tom Lees and Tottenham if he can pull this. He's got the possession right now. He's in the final third, but can he find the space?
Yeah.
Couple ball in there.
We were praising him for his green time shot, but now red time, it happens. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard to hold the ball for people at home when someone's constant pressuring you. Kind of hard. And obviously when Tom is actually constant pressuring you, who has a really good second man press as well, it's even harder. So it's not going to be easy for Conkai to hold the ball in these situations, because I would say Tom's pressure is one of the best, not only in the ePrem, but at the whole world. But yeah, Tom isn't happy and he's uncomfortable. You can see it like his facial reactions and his emotions. He's not comfortable at the moment. He hasn't been throughout the whole game, I'd say. Throughout the whole weekend, we could say. But yeah, still 15 minutes more to play and you just gotta give it up.
You mentioned Tom being a little bit hard on himself today and in the past, but he knows that he can do this. That's why he's here, right?
Yeah, but I mean, there's different kind of players. I think Tom is the kind of player who puts a lot of pressure on himself when he lets himself down. So yeah.
Well, like you mentioned, all to play for. One more goal for Tottenham to equalize Aston Villa, but as it stands, Aston Villa will go through to what a mistake by Aston Villa, and a green time shot by Wout Weghorst with a wink from Tom Lees. We told you. We said that. We said he would do it.
Oh, we were talking about mistakes and affording to do mistakes. That's definitely a mistake you can't afford to do. That's big. Giving the ball with your center back to Erling Haaland, he's not gonna. No, actually, Weghorst.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't Haaland.
Weghorst.
No, it was Weghorst. But yeah, I mean, you can actually red time shot that sometimes, but Tom was on point on there. 2 goals, 2 green time finishing shots, and game is on.
We were talking about being locked in, and obviously you said being able to capitalize on those mistakes at this level. Not very many mistakes are made, but when they are, the important thing is to be able to take advantage of that, and that's exactly what Tom did. And now it's all square. I was just literally finished before the goal saying that as it stood, Aston Villa was going through, but then literally right in the middle of that, Tom scores. So 2-2, Spurs, Aston Villa.
Well, in the second, we said he needed to speed up things for a bit, and he's been doing it. So he might concede even a goal. Not concede, sorry. He will be create a huge chance, because he's playing well in these last minutes of the game.
What a goal can do for your confidence. And there is a goal that he needed. Ginola with the goal to take him ahead just before the end of the 90. Wow.
And the game is not over.
It's
the game is not over. Oh, that's so tough on Conke. He actually, he did poor defending a couple of times. There on point with the decision making, and that's tough because you were just gonna go through to the semifinals, and then in a flick of a second you're a goal down.
We talk about what a goal can do for your we talk a lot about how mindset is sometimes the biggest part of FIFA. Without being able to recenter yourself and control those emotions.
Is he gonna be able to hold?
I was gonna watch.
One more chance, no.
And Tottenham Hotspur goes through the semifinals. You can see what it means to the two of them. Obviously, having a tough run, scraping through to the quarterfinals, potentially not going through the semifinals. Congratulations to Tottenham and commiserations to Aston Villa, perhaps the favorites in this tie.
I'd say Aston Villa were playing better to this point, but when you're playing such a huge team as Tottenham, obviously with huge players as Tom and Gorils, it's tough to say. But yeah, I feel so sorry for Villa because they were playing a fantastic tournament to this point. But sometimes that's not enough when in 20 minutes it just all goes to waste. But yeah, I mean, Conke and Conke and Cameron was playing really, really good.
Definitely. I think the two of those young boys should be very proud of their performance this weekend. Incredible for them to make it to day 2, to the quarterfinals. And like you say, it's really tough being Aston Villa, Cameron and Konkai, because like you said, at one point, literally 5 minutes ago, they were through.
Yeah.
And then Tom was able to equalize, come out ahead. Gorilla did it for Tottenham yesterday, and Tom did it for Tottenham today, and Tottenham is through to the semi-final. But now, the other game between West Ham and Wolves that we were seeing highlights from before is going to extra time, so we are going to go over there and take a look at how they're doing.
Yeah, we have goal poacher, former Premier League champion last year, and we have the decider now. So yeah, we can expect definitely a good match here, because Wolves was kind of an underdog in a way in not even in this match, but throughout the day 1 as well. So yeah, I mean, we're chopping back and forth, lots of action, and let's see if goal poacher can still be alive for this second day of the Premier League and going through semifinals.
Definitely. Well, we all love an underdog story, as you said, goal poacher being a well-known name in the FIFA community, in the esports world. And Wolves are going to look to take that ahead and challenge that head-on. Obviously, the second game on PlayStation ending in a draw as well, now bringing them to extra time. And like you said, all to play for. This is the decider.
Yep. Yeah, this is the decider. You don't have that much time, as we said. And yeah, all to play, pretty much.
And we can confirm that Tottenham Hotspur is going through to the semifinals. And after this game between West Ham and Wolves, we will see who Tottenham will be playing in that semifinal match.
Yep, West Ham or Wolves.
Thoughts, predictions?
I mean, West Ham. I would say West Ham, because we have the former ePremier champion of last year playing right now. So I would say West Ham, but Wolves have been kind of an underdog story in a way, so I wouldn't count them out. But yeah, big semifinal.
All right, well, we are underway in this third deciding game between Wolves and West Ham. 2-2 on aggregate. So the second match ended 1-1, similar to the first.
Yep. And we have not that much time to play in a way, because we just have 30 minutes and a potential penalty shootout. So yeah, all to play, definitely.
Well, there could be a chance here with Mudryk getting that a little bit wide of the goal. That would have been a start to extra time.
Yeah, we've seen actually a lot from Modric this potentially a world star in football in future years, for sure. And his item is strong as well. But yeah, 30 minutes to play. Let's see what we can see. And obviously, one of the best matches you could see right now in the UK scene.
And that was a quick shot as well, but saved by Van der Sar. West Ham having all of the chances. The ball hasn't quite been.
I mean, it makes sense, because we saw goal poacher yesterday in really offensive player. Even in that last match against Solelito, I think he scored like 4 or 5 goals, something like that, which is quite a lot in just a game. So yeah, you could expect goal poacher to actually be the one with chances this extra time.
So having the experience you have in the pro FIFA scene,
yep,
going into extra time when the 2 previous games in possession, in scoreline, how would you approach time to take you through to a semifinal?
It depends on how good you are at the penalties. It's life. You'd say it's luck. I don't agree with that. Actually, the player who prepares is a good chance.
Good ball. Mudryk's got a lot of space. He crosses it to the left. Cantona, always a very popular item this weekend. He's a foot birthday, Eric Cantona. You can see what it means to goal poacher.
Yeah, the passion is there. a lovely through ball, as we saw like 10 minutes ago, actually from the other match as well. But yeah, lovely through ball. I think the first half of the other time is gonna end like this, so we have 15 more minutes. But yeah, as I said, but goal poacher has been on point this first half, I'd say, with the build up, with the 1v1 decision making, with the extra passes as well, because this was a really good extra pass to Cantona. But yeah, all to play, and you can see actually Kai FIFA is kind of relaxed in a way. He's obviously feeling the pressure, because if he doesn't equalize in the 15 minutes we have left, they're going out. But I kind of see him as a calm player. Actually, he's calm, he's confident in a way. I mean, we're seeing a lot of equalizers in those matches, so we are not definitely counting him out yet.
Yeah, exactly that. We've seen that before. We've seen the one goal up and then the equalizer afterwards, but you can see the confidence and perhaps the relief in goal poacher now being up. And this isn't 90 minutes, this is 15 more.
Yep.
A lot less in real time.
Yeah. You're gonna have, I'd say, 2 or 3 more chances, so you have to defend this first, but you can't afford to lose the possession in the build-up, because you're gonna have 2 chances, I'd say, and you gotta make them count. You're out of the competition, simple as that.
Looking to maintain some of that possession, and now they're on the counter-attack. Goal poacher said.
And we're gonna see constant pressure now. We're gonna see loads of left stick dribbling, 1v1, and maybe a good chance by goal poacher.
I think he doesn't want to, well, I was going to say he doesn't want to go in too aggressive, wait for some space, wait for opportunity if it comes, and if it doesn't, he'll just hold on to that possession.
Yeah. It seems like goal poacher is a really good left stick dribbling player, so if I were him, I wouldn't pass the ball as much. I would just keep it like he's doing right now, left stick dribbling in the corner, because I think he's going to be able to maintain the ball for 3 minutes and just let. But yeah, it's important to pressure as high as he's doing right now, as you can see, because you kind of don't let your opponent, get that confidence to get the build up. But yeah, last chance of the game.
Wasn't unfortunately able to get it out of.
That's it.
And that does it for West Ham Wolves. Goal poacher, you can see what it means to him and his teammate Dami. West Ham going through to the semi-final, and they will play Tottenham Hotspur. That's a North London derby we have right there.
Yeah.
That's a big game. Commiserations to Wolves. They should be very proud of their run as well, like you said. Perhaps a little bit of an underdog story. They should be proud to make it this far. But West Ham Tottenham in the semi-final.
I mean, the scenes. Oh, I love the passion. There's a lot of passion in the ePrem, which is something you love to see, definitely. But yeah, a really good match. But goal poacher, I think he deserves to go through, West Ham deserves to go through, because they've been playing consistently good throughout the weekend, and especially in this extra time. But yeah, we have actually a really good semi-final match, because that goal poacher against Tom is a match I definitely want to see.
Definitely. Well, obviously, Dan, in that first match on Xbox, being able to come out with a draw, set goal poacher up for the next game, also ended in a draw, but he was able to get it done in extra time, perhaps what he wanted instead of going to penalties.
Yeah, I would say so. Like penalties, I think luck comes into play, but the player who prepares the most is going to win. But you always have that something about, if I miss the first 2, I'm going now in some kind of way. So yeah, I think I prefer to play the extra time and
yes,
have my chances there.
Well, let's take a quick look at the highlights between Spurs and Villa in our quarterfinal match on Xbox.
Yeah, we see the pressure there from Muhulit. Extra pass, first tap by Ginola, actually. Ginola and Cantona, both really strong players, really good. I didn't see that live. That was a green time shot by Kevin De Bruyne. a really good equalizer. We saw some chances from Tom in the first half, as we said, but he wasn't the first player to score. It was this Haaland cross to Cantona, a really good header as well. So we kind of saw Tom and Spurs against the ropes, because Villa did have the chance and this penalty as well, which made him go 2-0 up. But then just madness happened in a way, Leah. Yeah. This crazy green time finish by Roberto Firmino as well, and this mistake. I mean, it's tough to watch. That's going to be tough to watch. Game by Tom, really good way to finish the game.
Definitely. Well, congratulations to Tottenham again. Taking a quick look at the highlights from West Ham and Spurs on the Xbox match, the tongue twister. Oof. What a way to start the game.
Best goal of the tournament, what you could say.
Could be.
Yeah, David Beckham, easy tap in by West Ham, and I think the match did end up like that, and we took over things to PlayStation. Really good build-up, a good pressure after possession lost by Haaland, yeah, and he scored the first goal, and then we kind of saw West Ham equalizing a really good, green time shot. As you can see, it makes a huge difference in every chance. If he had the confidence about, you know, just controlling the ball and scoring the goal. But yeah, Modric, an easy pass, tap in by Cantona, and yeah, that was it. West Ham going through the semi-finals.
Semi-finals, Tottenham Hotspur and West Ham United, a North London derby in the semi-final. But let's take a look, or let's hear rather, about some analysis of those two matches with Alex.
Yeah, we've had all the action and drama so far in the ePremier League, and that is why we love it. But we are going to take a look at some action from that Tottenham Hotspur Aston Villa game with some analysis. Now, it comes to a lot of different things in FIFA, and it makes it very difficult to break down opponents. But we saw Cameron for Aston Villa start off so well with his movement inside that 18-yard box. First of all, Gorilla gets a little bit aggressive out on this wing position. If you give up the wings in FIFA, that's where you have all that time and space, and you can really carve open your opponent from doing that. Gorilla gets aggressive in that press and unfortunately doesn't come out with the ball. So Cameron says, thank you very much, I'll take that drive down the wing. He takes his time and patience here, doesn't rush, and then this is what every FIFA player looks for. They want to work it up across. Cameron, though, says, I'm going to try something a little bit different, laying the ball back to Hullet and then driving it in the middle. Now, Vidic picks up the ball. Gorilla doesn't quite have control of it, but you have to give credit to Cameron. Immediately switching to Hullet, putting that pressure on, sprinting directly at him and saying, can I win the ball here? Vidic, if Gorilla could have control of it, possibly looks to come out to the wing, but doesn't quite have the ability to do that as of yet. Cameron says, thank you, I'll take it. Little step over, and then that pass off across with ease for that simple goal. Cameron started off so well. Gorilla obviously trying to find his way through, and also player locking is something that's so huge on FIFA. Gorilla has said he's worked on that so much. Pressing the left stick and the right stick in, you see the change of the icon. That's where you can then move the player that you've got controlling here, and the person on the ball will be controlled by the AI. That is what separates the top level FIFA players, and myself, and maybe you even at home. Gorilla then looks for that again, and the reason why it's so good is it gives you that time and space to carve the run in a way that you want. You can move that movement to suit you. Gorilla using it here again, and that was kind of an early sign for Cameron to say, look, you're not going to have an easy game of this. I will try my best in that final third. Big save there from the goalkeeper. Now, this here, to be honest, is just absolutely crazy from Gorilla. The ability to just have the ball out on the wing and the tight dribbling, the agile dribbling, using that R1 button just to say, I'm not gonna bite. I'm gonna wait for my opportunity to come, laying that ball off across, and then Kevin De Bruyne picking this one up. Now, it looks a little bit crowded here. It looks difficult to beat the opponent. Gorilla says, no, I'm gonna go for a side heel to heel, which is L2, square and X, driving into that space, and then the green time finish, ensuring that we get that goal, which that is possibly what separates some of the best. However, though, moving over into that second leg, Tom and obviously Konkai had so much to do with that draw on that first game. Konkai with that cross, we've seen that before from himself, always looking to try and find those angles. And Tom Lees was thinking this is going to be a difficult game for himself. A massive mistake from Konkai, Weghorst coming through. And again, we saw Tom Leach when he did it. It's just an instant green time finish, and it makes it so simple and easy to ensure that you get that. And then in that 84th minute, the ability to lay that ball through into Ginola and find that and get that all-important goal, which sees Tottenham Hotspur go through into that next stage. Aston Villa will be dropping out, unfortunately. We've seen a lot of action. We've seen a lot of different goals and space, which has been so good. And let's get a recap on those results as well for you at home. Aston Villa dropping out of the tournament. Tottenham Hotspur advancing through against West Ham United. Wolves, Joey and Kai FIFA unfortunately leaving us in the tournament as well as they drop out. West Ham goal poacher, former ePremier League winner, making sure that he carried that one on his back with Dan Wright to take them through into that next round. But speaking of goal poacher, Kyle is joined with goal poacher himself and also Tom Lee, so we can get all the reaction and the interview with them.
Goal poacher, Tom, wow, 2 great games, Tom. You've had a little bit more time to dissect it, so I'll come to you in a minute. I'll let you wait a little bit longer. Goal poacher, I mean, what a reaction from yourself. It took extra time, but I mean, you got there in the end, didn't you? You had a smile on your face at the end of it.
Yeah, nah, I always thought I'd score when I was 1-0 down, but then the clock keeps ticking and ticking, and then you're like 60 of like, wow, you know, I might lose. But yeah, when it went to extra time, I kind of knew I was going to win. You got to like bite yourself, believe in yourself, and I thought, yeah, I'm going to win this.
Now, Tom, it was a bit of a different story for you. It didn't go to extra time, but I mean, during the game, you were 2-0 down. Did you think, yeah, I'm going to pull this back, I'm going to be able to do it?
Yeah, firstly, I want to apologise to my family and friends at home. They're all stressed watching. I know my little nephew Archie stressing out of his mind watching. I'm just making it entertaining. What can I say? I think it's the quickest comeback I've ever made. I scored 3 goals in about 20 minutes. And yeah, it's not the way I want to do it, but if I have to do it like that, I'll take it.
You don't want to do it again against these, do you?
No. I'm aware of how good goal poacher is, obviously reigning champ from last year, and I know I can't start that slow again.
How good would it be to get your hands on that trophy again? Back-to-back ePremier League champion. That sounds quite nice, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, to do that back-to-back the first time, probably like, maybe not the only time in history, but there's not going to be many people who do it back-to-back. It'd be an unbelievable feeling. It
definitely would. Right, good luck to both of you. Go and get yourselves cool, calm, collected a little bit before we go again in that semi-final. But for now, we're going to take a short break. However, when we come back, we've got plenty more action for you. We've got our next rounds of quarterfinals behind me. Crystal Palace taking on Nottingham Forest, and then Leeds taking on Liverpool. It is all going down in the ePremier League. We'll see you after the break.
Well, welcome back to the Premier League. You join us here for our finals day in London. There are 8 teams remain. Well, there was 8. There's not so many now. Myself, Brandon Smith and Richard Buckley guiding you through the action today. It's time for some more quarter-finals now. And no doubt, the blockbuster, the big one. Liverpool Leeds coming into this tournament. Many would have said, this is your grand final. Unfortunately, it's not. It comes in a quarter-final instead.
If you just think about how many championships are in that little booth right there, in that podium, multiple figures, at least. The quality of the players that we're seeing on the screen right now is truly outstanding. That man right there, he's been there, he's done it before. Tex, Olilito, he's been so close to being there, losing out on a penalty shootout to Shells a few years ago. On the PlayStation side, we're going to have to wait a little bit, but 2 fantastic players in their own right. Yeah, we had a little bit of a reaction from those last matches we saw there. I think the words that I heard from Dan Wright of West Ham was, it's quite hard to watch a screen that's turned off for 90 in-game minutes when your teammates battling out on the opposite console. In case you missed it, the headline news is 2 London clubs in the semi-finals, and massive results they were indeed. Extra time was needed to find a winner between West Ham United and Wolves, and it was a last-minute comeback, a 27-minute comeback from former ePremier League champion Tom Lees of Spurs. His beloved Spurs are in a top 4, and it is certainly heating up here in London in our finals day. Now it's time for more matchups with just 4 more teams to get through. Nottingham Forest take on Crystal Palace on our side stream, and on our main stream it's this one. It's Liverpool against Leeds on the Xbox first and foremost. Tex is in town, the winner of the first ever ePremier League. And I tell you, there's a stat, isn't there, that goes around every single ePremier League. He's the only player that is played in every single EPL, alongside Mark Marley, as we know, was knocked out, of course, earlier for Brighton. For Liverpool, he loves this club, and this tournament is just a very different tournament for him. It means so much more. Whenever you're talking about what he's accomplished, the Premier League is always a trophy and always a springs to the front of his mind. It gets so much pleasure and pride representing them. On the other side of it, Olilito, Leeds have taken him to their hearts. He has been representing Leeds for a couple of years now, and honestly, regarded as one of the best players, not only in England, not only in Europe, but in the world. He is in that category of elite FIFA talent. This is an outstanding leg one.
Of course, Tex in that Liverpool strip from right to left, so left to right, sorry, in his first half. Leeds United from right to left. The story of Olilito is an interesting one. He's a Swedish FIFA player that in the last couple he lost on a penalty shootout to Manchester City last year. It was a top 4 alongside Mitch Hayward. He played for AFC Bournemouth this time round. But what does he play this time round, Richard? A different teammate, an elder statesman in the FIFA scene. Sorry, Tom Stokes. Lost the game yet for Leeds United. As Leeds look to come forward now. Olilito trying to make the first chance happen. Back to goal. David Ginola.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about Tom Stokes. We've got a full leg to dissect what he's going to do and how that game is going to take place. I think that will probably be a little bit more open. Any in particular game, in particular duo of players that we've seen take to the stage, this will be the best that you're going to see across any pairing of players against each other.
Well, as we saw from Liverpool, they went unbeaten in the group stages. They topped the group. And they're one of the first teams to book a spot in the knockout stages. Tex has only conceded 3 goals in the tournament. He has been ruthless defensively, and he's one of those players that you just simply can't figure out at times.
It's a mistake.
And one thing you've got to know about Tex, you have to score first if you really want to try and unsettle him.
Anybody who comes up is probably in that small category of players for Leeds that aren't going to be fazed by Tex. They've played before in numerous different for the last few years. He's not going to be sort of bewildered by what Tex is going to do. He's going to know him inside and out.
He would have studied
absolutely
overnight, knowing that this game was set in stone yesterday.
Also, in Liverpool and Leeds' mind, they're coming into this ePremier League tournament to win it. That probably means looking at whether it's in the quarters, semis, or grand final.
And back to that point you said about not being phased. Liverpool haven't made it to a final for quite some time. Here's João Felix now. A couple of ball rolls. This is silky from Tex. Expect nothing less as he dances into the box. Lovely reverse elastico, and he comes so close to open up Liverpool's account here. That's what he does. Unpredictable as ever.
I mean, just the combination of skill moves, the reverse elastico around the corner. Everything is methodical. Everything is planned out.
Well, it's another wave of Liverpool pressure, with Tex driving it forward. With Liverpool's very own Trent Alexander-Arnold, back across it went to Hullet, stopped by player Virgil van Dijk. You might be thinking, why is he wearing a Leeds United shirt? This is the format of the Premier League. You're allowed to use a selection of Premier League players,
past and present.
Hence why you will see Rude Hullet, Ginola, foot hero, and even a selection of current players in there, such as Firpo of Leeds United. Never thought I'd be commentating Harry Kewell to Junior Firpo. Another chance building nicely. Here's Tex. Pull it. Back to goal. David Ginola. And he's just trying to find the right exit with that. And well, Elito's able to stop him on that occasion.
And there is another quarter-final currently taking place between Nottingham Forest and Crystal Palace. And it's Crystal Palace going 1 goal to the good. Eric Cantona rifling that in at the near post. Palace in a promising position as it currently stands. Plenty of FIFA left to play though.
Yeah, that matchup is Ben against Redlac. Cannot forget how impressive Nottingham Forest were yesterday. Keep in mind that Palace have been to this stage one step further. They knocked out Liverpool last year and they had a semi-final top 4 run. Leeds United. You're right, we said past and present. By Liverpool. In the corner, they made that run into the box.
The player who's heading it is important, but it's more about the timing of the cross. If he can just time it perfectly as that defence is pushing forward, the midfielder or the defender venture. That's where the real skill element of it comes in. We're not just whipping the ball into the box, trying to score a random header. The player is selected manually forward, and then the cross comes shortly afterwards.
Here's Tex again now of Liverpool. Will try his best before Leeds kick that one out for half-time. 45 minutes played here, still 0-0. Expect to see this, though, in this chess match of a quarter-final of this year's ePremier League. We knew it was going to be a competitive game, and we saw that yesterday in the group stage where Man City took on Liverpool. That was also a goalless affair across the board. I think Diogo's picture there might have summed up the first 45 minutes there. A little bit of a snooze fest, but to be honest, there was chances. Tex did get things going in the final third, but for Elito, Richard didn't really, or wasn't able to really create anything. I'm not saying Tex was in an abundance, but he made something.
But you expect Tex to do that sort of thing in the final third with multiple skill moves and trying to penetrate before playing a pass or getting a shot away. The one big chance was that one where he reverse elasticoed around the corner and the strike just skidded off the ground as he sort of arrowed towards the far post. Forward, I think for him in this leg, if you can just take a 1-goal lead or even a 0-0 draw, you're passing that off to Stokes, who you know will go forward, you know will create chances. The majority of games that we've seen today, they're both 2 quarter-finals, were level pegging going into the second leg. It's very important not to get battered. You don't, if you're taking a 5-goal deficit, a 4-goal deficit going into that second leg, you're giving your opponent no real opportunity to turn the game around.
Offside trap teased there by... That's that point you made, though. It's going to be an interesting battle between Diogo and Tom Stokes. I was looking at the stats. Diogo scored 6 goals across the group stage compared to Tom Stokes. When that one comes around, maybe In the other game, there is an equaliser if you're a Nottingham Forest fan. It's in the form of Eric Cantona. Lovely touchdown into the back of the net. That's Redlac that's equalised for Forest. 1-1 against Crystal Palace in that first Xbox matchup. Keep in mind, it is a two-legged game here in the quarter-final. One game on the Xbox, one game on the PlayStation. The two scores added together will equal the final result. Leeds United looking to have their first real chance. Cantona back to David Ginola. Lovely skill move. Solilito looks to buy a bit more space and time. Erling Haaland's step-overs moving, and when they start chaining together, it normally leads to trouble.
Yeah, as he took those couple of step-overs, as I thought for a second he might actually be able to brush past the defender. We've seen it. When Haaland gets going, not many people can stop him.
Especially in that team of the year build that he's got.
That'll give Solilito.
He's Tex. Trent Alexander-Arnold. Is he looking for a cross? Is he looking just to delay? A pass. It's pretty deep on the edge of the box. It's a triangle. Pull it. Cantona. Not sure what Haaland did there, but just about came with the back of his ankle and kept the ball moving. Wow, wow, wow. Speak about ePremier League drama and turnarounds. There has been a turnaround from Nottingham. Redlac was confident as ever at the end of play yesterday. And why wouldn't he be? What a day one they had. Flip the game on its head. They lead 2-1. Liverpool lead still 0-0. This is quarter-final leg one. João Felix back to De Bruyne. We are waiting for that. And this game is going to fall now with Erling Haaland. As Tex is passion, and so is Solilito defensively. Offside trap teased again. And that time, possession.
There's just so many small, intricate details, whether it's the build-up play in the final third, the dribbling, that extra pass. The smallest of margins could potentially Leeds. 1 goal to the good, maybe 2 goals to the good, going into that really clutch second leg. And it could come down to a mistake. Done that a couple of times, Solilito, just giving the ball away in his defensive third.
So organised, though.
Tex just doesn't have the space to
every single white shirt in Leeds United's own half. We go into a pause menu now. You can just see like what the two banks are for there, or potentially I think it might have been a 4-5-1 at one point there from Leeds United. Just sitting back and making it so hard, but they've just struggled when they get the ball to move it forward. I mean, it's a case of there's just no way through, is there?
And when I was just speaking to Tex before the game, he said expect a 0-0. So maybe this was predicted between these two. He knew what we were going to come up against, the back 5-4-1, sitting in shape and not really giving too much defensively away. Solilito. A 0-0 draw is a great result against Tex, and Tex probably on the other side as well. Like
Tex is the goal scorer in that team.
If Solilito comes out and tries getting at me, he knows that he can beat him. So I think 0-0 for both parties. It's not a terrible. It's only a yellow.
Goes into a yellow. We've got an update from the other game, Crystal Palace. 64 minutes on the clock. That's a really clever pass there from Ginola into Harvey Elliott, who will score just after the 60th minute mark. Very different. Very different. Though, 4 goals in that one. None here.
Palace and Forest have still all our goals.
But back to your point, I agree. I think a 0-0 help. It's not a bad result for both. Gabriel Martinelli into Wout Weghorst. I think that tells you the game we're going to be seeing from Leeds United in the last 15 minutes. Expect the ball in the air of the Dutch forward being used.
We've had the opportunity to stand up here on the main commentate 2 Tex games, 2 Liverpool games. They both ended 0-0 so far. Maybe wear the curse.
We haven't seen a goal yet, have we, from the 2019 ePremier League champion?
This could be it.
We can. Erling Haaland all the time. Oh, he's blazed it wide.
Huge let off for Leeds. You put door. And it just wasn't meant to be.
And as we nearly see a goal, there's another one that's gone over here. Nottingham Forest back in front, 3-2 Redlac with the lead. But what a lifeline that was for Leeds. Or was it just so rushed?
Surprised it didn't hit the back of the net.
Surprised it wasn't even on target.
What an opportunity. It came from that pass into the midfield, and the first time over the top through ball, just as we've seen there, Haaland the pitch a little bit of length.
De Bruyne. De Bruyne! Finally! Liverpool have a breakthrough in the game. It's taken some incredible patience from Tex. He kept on knocking on that Leeds United door until there was an answer. And of all players, it was the central midfielder that had to get things moving. De Bruyne makes it 1-0 for Liverpool.
It just went long. The pass from Ruud Gullit to Erling Haaland, it was a 40-50 yard over the top through ball, stretched the pitch. Haaland went deep, recycled the possession, and then with Haaland going out to the left-hand side, the entire defence sort of just shifted across a little bit. It gave De Bruyne the space, and Team of the Year Kevin De Bruyne, anywhere around the penalty box, you know it's going to be on target. Something his Norwegian teammate in Erling Haaland couldn't say, as he stuck it over the bar. Travella into the bottom corner.
And that's what he'll do with every Kevin De Bruyne, with a goal that will lift up Liverpool. And his teammate that just sits behind him, he's in the hot seat. And it's lucky that Leeds have got one thing, a goal scorer who's about to step up to the mark on the PlayStation in Tom Stokes. Well, we finally had our Tex goal, Rich.
Yeah, we knocked the curse. It's been lifted.
Or is there a late equaliser for Leeds? Added time of 1 minute. Are we going to see something magical now? In it goes towards the back post. Well, where Corsty's there. It was very, very nearly put on a plate to David Ginola, but that will do us to the halfway point between Liverpool and Leeds. It is the Reds that have a very small but 1-goal lead. Text against Olilito is in the books. It is concluded. Now it's time to turn on that PlayStation console and get that next game ready and raring to go. As Diogo will take on Tom Stokes. There's still much more to come from this game.
I'll give you a guarantee for everyone watching at home. We will have more than one goal in this PlayStation leg. We will have plenty of goals because Tom Stokes will not turn defensive. He will go forward. Now he's got a lead to overturn. How Diogo addresses that will be the bigger question. We know what we're going to get from Leeds.
Absolutely. There's still going to be 90 more minutes of FIFA. As we said, this is on the opposite side of the bracket. The winner of this will play Nottingham Forest or Crystal Palace. Of course, that game has had 5 goals in it. There's still a second leg to come there. We're off for a quick break here at the ePremier League. As we said, still so many more games to come. In case you missed it, West Ham against Spurs is already in the book. That's a semi-final. We're just trying to find out this bottom half of the bracket, which teams will go through. At the end of play today, one team will win £30,000 and be crowned the ePremier League 2023 champion. We're off for a quick break. When we get back, it's Liverpool beat Leeds, but on the PlayStation. Will they be able to turn it around? Only time will tell. We'll see you in a few. Well, welcome back to the Premier League live here in London. You join us for the quarter-final stage. If you have missed it, Leeds against Liverpool. We called it the blockbuster fixture, and what a tightly contested game it was. But Richard, it's not done yet.
Far from done. We're at the halfway point, but this second half is going to be potentially career-changing for a number of these players on the screen. Will it be the FGS season continuing for Tom Stokes? Will it be Liverpool going within one more step of making some EPL history and going as the first ever two-time Premier League champions? Lots of questions are about to be answered in your next 15 minutes. Make sure that you kick your feet up and enjoy this one.
Well, there's a bit of a preview for this one between these two in terms of the run that they've had so far in this tour. And one thing they both have is they've got experience in this Premier League for different clubs on their journey. From Fulham to Liverpool, and for Tom Stokes, played for a handful of teams in the run. One thing we can say about the two, there's a lot of goals between the two players. Tom Stokes got 18 goals in the group stages up to this point. Diogo only scoring 6, but regardless of that, he's still went unbeaten in the group stages. This one plans to beat a really tightly contested game. Keep in mind, Liverpool Leeds in the fixture from a Kevin De Bruyne goal that was scored just 5 minutes before the end of the match, as Tex got the result against Olilito.
How will Liverpool and Diogo address this game? You've got a lead. Do you try and sit on it? Do you try and hold possession? Do you try and play the clock? Do you go forward, extend it 2 to 3, maybe even to 4? For Leeds United, we know what the game plan is. It's written out in black and white. Get forward, get goals, and turn this game around.
Leeds United on the hunt for a way back into this tie. Junior Firpo, the Leeds man, on a play. Surely! Oh, David Ginola! That was the moment!
Taken him 7 minutes, and he's already penetrated. Already a golden opportunity. I can guarantee it won't be the last.
Oh. The Leeds man, he needed to put on a plate. I mean, it was on a plate. Just had to put it in the back of the net. Down the opposite end now. Just offside. Here's David Ginola. One thing you know about Tom Stokes. But I'll tell you one thing, going forward, he creates and he creates and he creates.
Yeah, that's the focal point of his FIFA ability. His attacking displays that he can put on. He can blitz a player by 6, 7, 8 goals in a very short time span.
That's on the flip side for Diogo. Ever since he teamed up with Tex, they've seen teammates outside of this tournament. Also, they've been teammates for quite some time. They've both just elevated each other along the last couple of in-game FIFA seasons. Nationally, at club level. In the Premier League, back to goal. Here's Bobby Firmino, the Liverpool man. Does get the nod in this team. You already see it already there from Diogo. Just a little bit of a teaser, a trailer of what is to come in terms of his skill move combinations. His David Ginola back there, tried to interchange. The angle was off.
Created. That's the main thing. The chances are starting to come. I think for Diogo, it's just eliminating how many have to face shots at your goal. It's making sure that they're minimal and they're not golden chances.
Oh, Mudryk! It's twice now!
How many of these are you going to get?
The game plan was there, just flick it down to the forward, and Mudryk of Chelsea had one job to do, just connect with the ball. It just did not bounce. You can see there already a pause coming in from Liverpool. They're not happy. Neither's Diogo with the first 25 minutes here.
Realistically, it could be 2-1 to Leeds United.
He's got to be thinking there, Tom Stokes.
I'm playing well. I'm playing well.
I'm playing really well.
I think when you talk about Stokes as well and this Premier League journey so far, all the way back when the club playoffs and the online qualifiers were taking place, many maybe even questioned why Leeds United. He said it was a business decision. He knew that Olilito was more than likely, no disrespect to the other players that were competing for Leeds, going to get that spot on the Xbox. And if he could get that PlayStation spot and win the qualifier, they're a real formidable duo. They were the favourites alongside Liverpool for a lot of punters and a lot of people watching at home. So these are two teams to watch, as Roberto Firmino gets his number called after 25 minutes.
I mean, it was an interesting pick, but he's off the pitch. Tom Stokes, you speak about veteran. He's played in 4 out of the 5 ePremier League. There's a chance to come forward for Leeds. We'll keep an eye on that one. There is an update. 3-2 up. Now it's Ethan Higgins on the sticks, and he's back again representing Palace. Makes it 3-3 in that one. We'll keep a close RSD against Ethan. Of course, Forest against Crystal Palace. That one in its second.
See as well, Crystal Palace in the Premier League, down to Ethan's outstanding performance in the FIFA Global Series this year.
De Bruyne, back to Mudryk. Here's Tom Stokes. Here's Leeds United. Timed it green. Well played, Van der Sar. Got his body behind it and just did enough to keep Leeds out. It's another wave of pressure dinked into the box. Dyke is in the air, and to break Liverpool hearts, is this the Liverpool man that will score against them?
And you can't say it's not been coming. 3, 4, 5 opportunities going knocking for Leeds United. It's just dinked, it's floated in to the back post where Virgil van Dijk rose.
It just trickled in though, didn't it?
Good header. What do they always teach you? Head it down.
You cannot argue that Leeds have not deserved that from what we see in the first. And it's little moments like that that just aren't going Liverpool Diogo's way at the moment. Get his foot back on it. Have to remember how good he's been in this tournament, unbeaten so far, defensively so sound.
Just keep it calm, and exactly what you're doing here. Just knock this ball about, get your foot under it. There's been 2 or 3 times where he's gone to switch the play and it's just trickled out, and he's lost possession. Composure is a word that we talk about a lot in FIFA eSports. We're not just talking about putting the ball in the back of the net or keeping it from a penalty potentially. Playing the pass into a dangerous area, knowing that you've got the ability to turn out, to play another pass, to keep the ball when you want. A bit of pressure. Make the right decision at the right time.
Throw and taken quickly. Just speaking of pressure, Richard, it's not nice playing the second game, is it, when it is all in your hands and you've got one, and especially when you've got Tex over your shoulder.
So done his job. You feel like you're letting the team down potentially as well. But I don't know. These are all conversations that I'm sure will be happening potentially after the game has concluded. But Tex right in there.
On the opposite side, Leeds is probably licking his lips, thinking, "Thank you.
You've done what you needed to do
for getting the game back all square." And there you go. Half-time in this second leg. That's all you need to know. The aggregate scoreline is 1-1. If we were to be drawing at the end of this game, we play extra time on the second matchup console. So it would be on PlayStation. Extra time would be played on, which would mean Tom Stokes against Diogo Mendes. Still a lot of time to be played here, and I think, if anything, this is an important little pause for Diogo. Have a chat to Tex, and just say, look, come on, let's get going. Let's get back into that rhythm again. Let's try and find our feet here.
And we are tied as well in the other quarter-final taking place as well between Nottingham Forest and Crystal Palace. The scoreline, no further updates on that game. As a goal is scored, we will give you it.
Chance to get the ball forward for Liverpool now. De Bruyne back inside, that's better already from the get-go. Oh, great feet from De Bruyne. Back inside Mudryk. This is so different from Diogo now. Oozing with confidence with Mudryk!
What a goal! The McGeady cancel inside the box. Sent Stokes defenders spinning. And slammed it into the back of the net with Mudryk. Different. Diogo. We saw 45 minutes of average FIFA. We've just seen 5 minutes of brilliance from Liverpool.
Just the confidence there in the final third as he wins. It's starting to appear. His confidence in his feet now for Liverpool. Switches all the way across to Eric Cantona. Is there a comeback available for Liverpool? Maybe there is. They do lead 2-1 now, more than the aggregate scoreline. And it's pressure back onto Leeds as they now need to chase. So the quarter-final stages of the ePremier League. Winner of this will play Forest chance or Palace. Is he onside? There's got to be a comeback there. He goes on his own. David Ginola, minutes later, restores the cushion. And it's game on again.
You said there might have been a cutback. Didn't need it. Didn't trust. Finish into the bottom left corner. Timed. Put his laces through it. And this is the sort of game that we knew we were going to get in the second leg.
He's back in the hunt. So important that he replied. He did. Diogo straight down the other of a Junior Firpo of Leeds to that. It's an own goal. Well.
Who does this favour? Diogo's been much better in the second half, but I think Stokes, he's just got a knack for scoring at the right time in the game. Just to get himself back up for it.
There's been a goal in the opposite game. Last time we heard it was all square. Now it's Crystal Palace that we hear have got a fourth. It's Ethan Higgins, the #1 ranked player, coming into this tournament and showing people exactly why that is a fact.
Crystal Palace looking to continue in the Premier League finals.
Liverpool. João Felix, Mudryk, is there a one more pass? Can he go on his own? He scored the goal earlier. Nice little... You never know where he's going, Diogo. After the goal he scored earlier. Unpredictable, De Bruyne. Is there an option in the box? He got... Ginola still will try and turn and put on a plate for Mudryk on the opposite. Pause that's being cued by Liverpool as they look to bring on fresh legs. So he's got the race. He's got the pace over Virgil van Dijk. It's a case of who's going to pass to in the box. Corner and a pause to come in.
What we got? 14, 15 minutes left to play. Extra time and penalties potentially on the horizon. And conversations are ongoing yet again for Liverpool. Diogo and Tex. Stokes for Leeds. The two men in the hot seat right now. All eyes on this monumental quarter-final tie.
Which is edging, Richard, closer and closer towards an additional 30 minutes. At least you got one thing right. He said there'd be more than one goal this game.
Well, it had to be. Educated guess.
Keep in mind, Crystal Palace at the moment, 4-3 up against Nottingham Forest. They're about to send out a team that have been the surprise package this year in the tournament. Corner played in, it's on a plate! That's how you take a corner! And all Tom Stokes can do is just nod an approval and say fair play.
Very, very similar to the goal that Virgil van Dijk scored for Liverpool. The short corner and then that floated cross into the back post. Emphatic header across the goalkeeper. Nothing Edison can do about it at all. As Stokes finds he's back against the wall. Leeds United, 12 minutes to turn this tie around.
I can assure you in that pause, Tex was over Diogo's shoulder and just talking him through the corner like, this is what we're going to do, this is what we're going to try. It was perfect.
No coach necessary for Liverpool.
Waiting to get back in the game at Leeds, 4-3 down. They've replied before. 14 minutes left. 3-2 down, I should say.
When do Leeds United white shirts start flooding forward? Is it the time to go now with still a reasonable chunk of play?
Haaland. Back to Hull, recycle. Player that's done it all! Still at the best!
The first time roulette. We talk about whether it be a mistake, though that was simply magic from Stokes. Recycled possession. Played it into the striker. The first time. And the finish, emphatic. And the first real celebration.
Little finger wag there, wasn't it? A little cheeky finger
I think
wag.
you were happy with it. You were happy with the goal.
It was so cool. Was that Weghorst?
It was. The big man.
What journey he's had. I said it yesterday on the broadcast, from coming into the Premier League, signing for Manchester United, getting a promo item. The now is
big wout.
Made him just a part of these pro player teams. A Manchester United player. Banging an equaliser for Leeds United, 3-3. 10 minutes left, and still we're back all square again. What a second leg this has been between these two. Still so hard to call.
It's a really good win of possession.
There's a free kick.
Offside.
Away for Liverpool from the offside call. 7 minutes away from extra time. Semi-final. The 2023 Premier League Grand Finals, one of these two. Canton up, punches it forward into Weghorst. Lovely little offload into David Ginola.
Ashley Cole, fresh off the bench.
Tries to do his best to get past Carl Walker. It sounds as Crystal Palace are edging closer and closer towards a semi.
This is going to be heartbreak for one of these two sides, whether it comes in the regulation 90 or we have to go extra time and maybe even penalties.
Well, what you're seeing now from Liverpool, they're going to play for the last chance of the game. They're going to wait until that clock ticks over into additional time. There it is now, 1 minute. Watch the run in the box. Virgil van Dijk made it. This could be curtains. Well, Weghorst with a chance to be a hero for Leeds United in the 90th minute. Cuts it back inside. Ginola, who red times the finish. And that could have been game, set, match. For Leeds United, there is still a corner to be played. Ginola does well just to scoop turn that ball. Is there an option in the box? Virgil van Dijk is there! And Leeds United, with the last kick of the game, will send Liverpool packing. Tom Stokes, the man of the moment.
What a truly ridiculous 2 minutes of FIFA. Diogo sends him forward, Van Dijk goes into the box, he loses possession, there's a gaping hole at the back. He exploits it, he has the chance to win it, he red times the shot, the corner comes in, and it's been a leg of corners. Stokes scored 2, Diogo got 1. And the clutch moment from Stokes.
That is FIFA eSports at its finest. Last minute. And we always said this. These were the two favourites coming into this tournament. They were always going to meet at one moment. Maybe a final, maybe a... Liverpool out, Leeds are through, and they could be playing against. It's the last kick of the game over here, and it's Nottingham Forest that are chasing this game at 5-4 down.
With a free kick.
I've not got the voice.
Surely not.
Added time at 2 minutes, damage is over it. This is RSD towards the back post. He just did not get anything on it. Well, Wakehorst. And that is going to be the end of their journey, their fairy tale story for Nottingham Forest. They crash out. Crystal Palace will take on Leeds in the semi-finals of the ePremier League. Wowee. What a set of games that is, Rich.
I mean, the quarterfinals, 4-3, 3-2, 4-3, 5-4. That is as even as it comes in these games. Incredible sportsmanship there from both Nottingham Forest and Crystal Palace. Confirmation of that second leg result, 3-1. Palace were victorious. Ethan pulls it out of the bag when he needs to.
And there you go. I just can't get over that. This game here, what a game this was. We called it the blockbuster. It might have had a slow first leg, but by God, that second leg packed a punch. Literally, the reactions in the booth now are live. Heartbreak for Liverpool. Tom Stokes, though, one of the biggest things at this level in FIFA, you say about it again, is the mental side of the game. Everyone can pick up a controller and flick the stick and play to a great level. Of course they can. But when you get to this, live on TV, serious lumps of cash behind the line. The experience of Tom Stokes just to recycle that around. And, you know, there was a chance there. Some would say he maybe fumbled that with Walwegos as he tried to play it back inside. He won a corner, and just to have that level of composure, Richard.
Well, he did what he's done all game long. The short corner, then the back post cross. You just got to hope that there's a winner on it. There was a winner on it. It was a Leeds United winner. What a game. I hate to say it, I did guarantee you this. I guaranteed you that the second leg was going to come alight, and boy, did it ever. What a game.
Yeah, commiserations to Liverpool. I mean, look, one thing that we can say for Leeds United, their consistency in this tournament over the last couple of years. Last year, top four, they've matched that again. The year before that, they were grand finals, losing to Man City. And wow, let's have a look at the highlights from that game again. As we said, the first leg was on the Xbox. It was Tex against Solly Leeds. This was a nail-biter game, which only had one goal in it.
Yeah, it did. It was so... came late through Tex. He put Liverpool in the driver's seat going into the second leg of action. But we went over to PlayStation and things just picked up. That corner, short one, into Van Dijk. He wins the header. Does the Penguin waddle walk. Does Stokes in the second half. That's where all the goals came.
Started to really get going. That was a brilliantly well-taken goal there by Mudrick. Then this one was another equaliser from Tom Stokes. There was a one more pass there. He didn't need it. Timed it green with David Ginola. This was a really well-taken corner.
Very similar.
Diogo, that came out of the back of a pause. We thought at that point, is it too much to ask of Stokes? Then this happened.
Oh, what a goal.
A moment of magic, a moment of brilliance from Walwegorst. But this was the best one. You can see the celebration as well. Towards the back post, Virgil van Dijk, 90+3. There'll be Liverpool fans crying out saying, where on earth was that whistle? But that is what the man can do. Tom Stokes, Olilito, Leeds United are in the semi-finals.
Yeah, on the other side of it, we had a cracker between Nottingham Forest and Crystal all game long. Harvey Elliott was a man on a mission in the 1-0 up. However, it wasn't long lasting because Eric Cantona, just as he did for Crystal Palace, levelled up the game. Going into the second half, Forest found themselves back in front. David Ginola striking through the legs of Virgil van Dijk. That put Palace on the back foot. But what do? They always seem to reply. 66 minutes. We went into the 72nd minute. Forest came forward. João Felix turning provider yet again for Eric Cantona.
Yeah, have a breather, Rich, because there's so much to talk about across
So many
these games,
goals.
isn't there? That was 5 goals. And then we go again in the second leg where Palace just kept on flying. Keep in mind, they have got Ethan Higgins, if you are the #1 ranked player at the moment in Europe. And you just saw how good this man really was.
Killed the game off.
The #1 UK player, showing just how good he really is. 5-3. There was a goal back late on, and with 4 minutes to come. Unfortunately, that was the end of the road for Nottingham Forest. From 20 to 8 now, there's only 4 that remain. Wow. Final 4 of the Premier League. Spurs, West Ham, Crystal Palace and Leeds United.
And every of these 4 teams have a story. We could see a back-to-back champion. We could see potentially something historic with a 2-time ePremier League champion. Stokes looking to keep his FGS season alive. So many storylines going into the semi-finals.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, again, look, that's it from the commentary box. We're going to have a breather for a split second. Some incredible quarter-finals, but now only 4 remain. And I believe that Carl Walker is joined by some of those finalists.
Richard, Brandon, thank you so much. Yes, I'm joined by 2 of our semi-finalists coming through in some spectacular fashion. Stokes, Ethan, obviously Leeds United, Crystal Palace. Stokes, I'm coming to you first though. What a reaction, what an ending to your game, but I'm sure you don't want to do that again, do you?
Nah, although it feels great, like after my heart's still beating, I just want a calm, like nice, comfortable win. But no, that was it. That was incredible. Ollie did a great job in the first game, like playing against Tex. He played a little bit conservative, as everyone should do and would do. But I knew that if he gives me a game where I can achieve a comeback, I can definitely do it. And luckily, 94th minute, I think it was. But yeah, we got it.
And Ethan, you had it all to do going into your game, and you managed to turn it around. A little scare at the end, but you'd created a nice little cushion for yourself, so it was all good.
Yeah, I had a 2-goal lead in the 83rd minute. I conceded in the 85th straight away, back to 1 goal. So it was very tough, but no, I'm very happy that Ben played my teammate. He played really well. He was actually unlucky to come over those to 1 goal deficit, so I want to give a shout out to Ben. He played really well.
You were coming into this as the top-ranked side out of all 20. Was that added pressure, or did you just take that in your stride and here you are in the semi-finals? You're not worrying about anything like that?
Me personally, I don't really listen to all that. I'm just here to play my own game, whether we favourites or not. That doesn't really mean much to me. It's just about how we play, and hopefully we win it all.
And Stokes, for yourself, very quickly, you've already played against Liverpool. They were one of the toughest, one of the favourites. Now you've just got to go on and beat Crystal Palace.
Yeah, this could be the true underdog story. I mean, hopefully we can do it.
Well, let's see if you can. Like, little rivalries building already between these two. Well, I'll let you get ready for your semi-final. Plenty and plenty of action still to come. So much action, so much reaction. We can see all of this action we've seen so far. Do not go anywhere, though, because there'll be some head in the hands moments, I'm sure, still to come here. The ePremier League, come back. We've got our semi-finals.